Back with the Mac in studio to assess what we saw, and obviously great play there from CJ Stroud. We'll go there, but I do want to start with what is wrong with this version of the Baltimore Ravens. This game sort of amplified some of those things. Injuries, no defensive stop, no real run game to show for it, and now 1-4. Do you see a road back, or is this what the 2025-26 Ravens are?
This is what the 2025 Baltimore Ravens defensively, this is the type of unit I think we should expect to see. Because even before the massive injuries that have been more recently, let's go back to when they were healthy. They surrendered 40-plus points to the Buffalo Bills in a ball game where they had a nice lead on the road week 1. And then you look at what has transpired since then. 38 points to Detroit, 37 to Kansas City last week, and 44 to the Houston Texans. If you haven't been watching NFL so far this season, offensively, the Houston Texans had no explosion plays. They were very inconsistent. They couldn't protect C.J. Stroud. But when you play against the Baltimore Ravens, most recently, it's a get-right moment for that said offense. We saw that last week with the Kansas City Chiefs. They put 37 points on the scoreboard. So now when you look at all the injuries that have been associated with the Baltimore Ravens, I think this is what you need to expect to see. Offensively, you will have to outscore the opponent, because until I see otherwise, this defense, there are a lot of holes on this defense. All 3 levels, they don't tackle well. There are issues in zone droppage. You look at the coverage side of things, they're not creating turnovers. You can just have your way with the Baltimore Ravens defensively, and that's a hard thing to say when you look at, historically speaking, what defense has meant to that said organization.
It's one of those places that take pride in it. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Chicago. If the defense isn't there, you're not likely to have an offense that's going to outpace some of those inefficiencies. Yeah. When you look at the defensive performance this year, they've allowed 41, 17 to the Browns, 38, 37, and now 44. There is absolutely no stop. But let's give some flowers as well to C.J. Stroud in this Houston offense, because just 3 weeks ago, we're sitting here saying, can they protect him? Is C.J. starting to see some of those ghosts? Is it starting to build bad habit? And over the last 2 weeks, we've seen all that we lauded about C.J. Stroud through his first 2 seasons. 23 of 27, 244, 4 touchdowns, gets the legs going. How important have these last 2 weeks been for Stroud in that offense?
Watching C.J. Stroud today, if I didn't know any better, I would have thought we were the year 2023.
Rookie season Stroud?
His rookie season Stroud. I mean, 4 touchdowns, only 4 incompletions, north of 240 yards through the air, comfortable. And C.J., run the football more. It's okay, because when you do that,
I think you called for that.
Yes, I've been calling for that, especially when you look at some of the mishaps that we were seeing on the offensive line. The best way to help an offensive line out that has been struggling, run the football. Improvise, whatever the case may be, because we know they're not calling quarterback design runs for you, CJ. Okay, we understand that. But you have the ability to do what you did today, here or there in moments of a ball game that gets the flow of the offense going. And also, as a defender, now we have to account for that opportunity when it presents itself for you to run the football. And outside of that, look at the running game. Kudos to the offensive line. When you guys get back to Houston, you deserve a big bucket of barbecue, chicken, brisket, whatever the case may be, because not only did you protect your quarterback well, you set up running lanes for whoever the runner was running the peel. 167 yards on the ground. They averaged over 5 yards per carry. That is winning football. If you go back to the first three ball games, they couldn't run the football at all. They couldn't sustain any positivity with running the football. You remember what made them so successful? Joe Mixon and how they ran the football. Today, they got back to that identity, and we saw what we thought we would see from Houston today to start the season off was balance. C.J. Stroud looking like the old C.J. Stroud and finding ways to close the ball game with the running game.
Not going to devalue it, but it's a bit of a diner menu defense for the Ravens. You can have whatever you want against this Ravens team. They can't rush the passer. They can't stop the run. And Stroud, in turn, turns it into an 80% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Just the second player in Houston Texans history to accomplish that feat. Let's close with a thought here on the Baltimore Ravens, because we're 1-4. Big-time expectations to take that next step this season and find yourself on a championship Sunday, find yourself on a Super Bowl Sunday. They're looking at the Rams, the bye, and then the Bears. If you're going into the bye 1-5, we can waive bye. What does Coach Harbaugh need to get the most out of a group that's going to be dinged up still next week?
Well, it sounds like you're going to be missing your star quarterback in Lamar Jackson once again. I, for one, if you're going to play without Lamar Jackson, it's time to bring in Snoop Huntley, who's been a part of this organization for a while. He's been serviceable, given the opportunity. I think he fits their offense more so than Cooper Rush. And defensively, man, you're going to give up a lot, I think, in between the 20s. But if they can just focus on playing great red zone defense, having offenses settle for 3 points, that might be a window of hope for them to weather the storm until their star quarterback gets into the lineup. But right now, it's almost that desperation time for Baltimore when you look at the playoff side of things, right?
I love that message. Hey, fellas, they're going to drive at 60. Just bow up.
Yeah.
Just bow up after they drive 60.
Elbow defense, bend but don't break. Because I don't think they have, in terms of the injuries, they don't have the dues they need to have to be able to play at a high level in between the 20s. So, yes, you might give up a few things, but when we get into the red zone, we have to play our best defense. You got to play elbow defense. Your elbow, it bends, but it will not break. And that's what they got to implement until they get healthier. Because as you guys witnessed today, it's going to be a long season if they don't find a way to correct their.
I'll tell you this much: it is breaking for your Steelers in that division with all that's transpiring. Different conversation for a different day.
We applaud their problems.
Is for the struggles of the Baltimore Ravens. Look at that schedule again: Rams by Bears, then a short week to Thursday Night Football against the Dolphins. Some winnable games in there if you want to point to the Bears and the Dolphins right now. The Vikings, Browns, and Jets before a whole bunch of divisional football coming home. Steelers twice in 5 weeks. The Packers, Pats, and Bengals mixed in.